Hello, I'm Jack and this is Entertainment World, and today I will be talking about Moon Knight Episode 2, and like my previous video on Moon Knight Episode 1, I will be just talking about, like the things I did like, didn't like, in spoiler detail, and just my thoughts on a few things in general. So anyway, starting off with that now. Sorry this video took so long. Episode 3's come out this week, and I'll be watching that after this video, or possibly even during the filming of it. I'm not sure. Well, I'll stop filming and film the rest of it, you know what I mean. But yes, anyway, so on to the video. So I loved the first episode of Moon Knight. I really did enjoy it. I found it a lot darker than a lot of the recent MCU things. I found it to be very different. And most importantly, I thought Kevin Feige actually did keep his word when he said this was going to be scarier, more violent, darker, have some horror elements, be very psychedelic, and, be more, sort of more of an age rating push. And it did push the age rating. It did have a 16 plus on Disney Plus. So I thought that was, when I saw that, I was very happy. I watched the episode and I absolutely loved it. So anyway, I'll be talking about episode 2. So started watching it, being very happy with the previous episode. Episode kicks off. So this little bit will be added, is being filmed later on. I've just finished filming the review for episode 3. Sorry that I'm putting this here. This is going to be an awkward edit, I know, but I forgot to mention here that I did like the opening where he wakes up in bed, he bolts, his foot's chained up, and he just falls flat on his face. And then goes to the mirror and he's looking in the mirror. He's like, "Where are you? You there?" Thought not. Basically saying, yeah, he thought it was a dream. He didn't realise that what happened last night with the jackal and fighting in the museum in the bathroom actually happened. I did like that. I forgot to mention that here. Sorry. So I know this is going to be a bit of an awkward edit. I know, but I hope you understand that. Thank you. And there'll be another bit in a minute. Actually, towards the end of the episode. Sorry. So yeah, I apologise for that, but I appreciate your understanding with it. So yeah, just wanted to say that really quickly. Him going to work, and sort of he goes in and there's the crime scene. He's like, "Oh God, it really did happen. It all is happening. It's not a dream." And he goes up to the guy who works security, and who's got all the surveillance, and tells him, "Watch your security camera footage, you'll blow your mind." And I do like the little bit of a running joke that the guy who works security keeps calling him Scotty when his name's Stephen. He also doesn't like being called Stevie either. It's just, "My name's Stephen, not Stevie, certainly not Scotty, my name's Stephen." And I love when he goes in and they're watching the security footage and he's like, "You see, it'll blow your mind. You won't believe this," and all they end up watching is him sort of ducking for cover, holding museum property, and running around hiding from nothing being there, making him look absolutely insane. Made even worse by the fact he's just spent the last 2 minutes going like, "Look at this, it'll blow your mind. You're going to watch some epic level thing," and it's just this guy looking like he's having some form of psychotic episode and needs to be restrained. I did enjoy that bit. I enjoyed, in a dark way, when he's fired down on his luck, showing that it's all gone to shit. He's struggling and they recommend a therapist centre for him to go to. I did find that quite sad. I was like, oh, I like that they're sticking to this more sort of bleak, real life consequences, darker feeling, overall feel to this program, opposed to more of the MCU lightheartedness, where it's like, yep, something sad, anyway, immediately bounces to something funny. I love when he's going around order to different storage centres, because he's found a storage key that is under the name Mark Spector, who is his his other identity, because he has dissociative identity disorder, and you get a little bit of Mark Spector in the first episode towards the end, and you get a lot more of him in this episode. I love when he goes into the storage facility and he goes through and there's a bag, it's got a handgun in it, and you're like, oh fuck. And a little thing for people who live in America who might be watching this, or certainly watch Moon Knight, having a handgun in the UK is illegal. Having a handgun is always illegal. You can get guns if you have a license. You can get a shotgun. You can get a rifle. You can get certain assault rifles if you disarm the fully automatic mode. So you can have a semi-automatic gun, but you can't have a fully automatic gun. But you can't have a handgun. So him having that isn't just an unlicensed firearm. It's an unlicensed firearm that would be always illegal to have pretty much anyway. So I love when he panics and is like, "Oh God, this is bad," and he turns around and Mark Spector's in the reflection of the storage facility. Also, just quickly, I love that bit of the joke when he's going around asking the people who work at the front desk, "Is there a storage locket here under my name?" And because he can't remember, under Mark, and he's like, "Sure, I remember you," because Stephen has no fucking clue what's going on, and I bet the guy working there was a bit like, "Yeah, why are you seeming so nervous, jittery, and have a completely different accent?" But I do enjoy that a little bit. But anyway, sorry, with Mark in the reflection, I love that whole conversation. How he's like, no, I'm not letting you do this ever again. I'm not letting you have control. And he's like, I'm going to go to put myself in a mental health facility where they can hopefully lock me away and I'll never hurt anyone ever again. He runs out, and then you get more Khonshu. And I love that sequence with Khonshu because it was quite creepy. It wasn't like scary. It's not like a Conjuring film or a Paranormal Activity or something like that. But it is, for an MCU standard, it was like, oh, that's actually quite creepy and is quite weird. So I do enjoy that. And I also, again, like I said in the previous video on the previous episode, I love Khonshu's design. So I'm glad we got to see a bit more of him there. And then we finally meet his partner and wife, Layla. And by his, I mean Mark Spector's. Stephen doesn't know anything about her, and clearly Layla doesn't know anything about Stephen either. Didn't know that Mark had this dissociative identity disorder. Sorry. And when they're back at his flat and they're going around, and she's like, "You don't believe me? You don't know? Just drop the act. What is this? Some sort of cover?" And he's like, "I can't drop it. I can't. What do you mean drop it? I can't drop anything. This is me, I'm Stephen." And she's like, "There's no one listening to us." I love that bit, and I love how she gets increasingly frustrated and hurt and confused. Meanwhile, Grant is also confused, but is also trying to be sympathetic towards her. And you've got Mark's voice going on in his head, just saying, "Leave her out of this, go, get rid of her, sort of, get her out of the way." And you don't know why, and it also then caused more of a rift between Stephen and Mark, because Stephen's like, "Who is she? Who are you?" Well, he's still not fully confident who Mark is, but he's like, "Who is she? Why are you telling me to do this? Why are you treating her so badly?" And you do find out why towards the end, which is also quite a sad reason. But I do love how Stephen's so confused by everything going on. Layla's getting quite hurt by everything. She finds the scarab and is like, "Don't you know what this is? We've been looking for this." And he's like, "Is this why you've left so you can have it all to yourself?" He's like, "No, you take it, you have it. I don't know what it is. I don't get it. I don't understand what's going on." And she then starts to believe maybe this guy really doesn't understand what is going on, and that's fair enough. What is happening, and I like that sort of bit where it's she's getting really perplexed by it all and just really doesn't know what's going on. The police then come, take him away. And I love that bit in the car where they're driving along and the police are labelling all the things, well, police, or maybe they are police and they've just been paid to do this, I don't know. But when Mark Spector, they're listing all the bad things Mark Spector's done, and it does sound extremely violent and horrible, going to another country, shooting an entire archaeology team in the back of the head. Like, okay, again, Marvel, you're doing quite well. This is quite dark. I am happy with this. You're not just doing super cookie cutter bullshit all the time. I was like, okay, I'm still enjoying the tone. It is overall a bit lighter than the previous one, but I'm still liking how this is going. And they take him to Arthur Harrow, and it reveals that he's paid the people to bring him there. Now, what I love about this bit is you get to spend a lot more time with Arthur Harrow, understand his motive, understand what he wants, understand his perspective, and understand him more as a character. how he does, everybody likes him. He gives, instead of attacking Stephen and being horrible to him and threatening with violence immediately, he takes him around, shows him his community, tells him, before I came here, this was the worst crime-ridden area of this city. Now look at it, and look, they sleep with their doors unlocked. They're all walking around, they're all eating together as a big community, and it's really interesting to see, but you can tell they all do have this sort of cult happiness. They all love each other because they're all under this ideal, but you could tell that they do have they would have a hostility to the outside world or anybody who doesn't agree with their thought process, or especially anybody who tries to stop them. But I still love that scene, and I thought one thing that was interesting is when he asked Steve, when they're going to the dining hall to eat, and he asks Stephen, are you a vegan? And Stephen says, yeah, I am. And he goes, yeah, so am I. I thought that was quite interesting because, making Arthur Harrow a vegan, I do think was quite a good little subtle thing, because that does add to the, he's super peaceful, I'm super nice, I care about everything, I'm in it for prosperity, I don't like hurting animals, I want everybody to be super happy, I want peace and love and all those sorts of things, but in doing so he's like Thanos in a way, in terms of this is what we want, we need to cull all of this problem and we need to live in this super perfect society, and anybody who isn't at this level of super perfectness must be murdered. And that's sort of alright, okay. And you get to learn more about Ammit and his view on Ammit, and his and it turns out as well he was Moon Knight before Stephen or Mark was Moon Knight, and he was actually Khonshu's avatar, avatar, and I do think that was a really good choice. I mean, it does stem to that little bit, the stereotypicalness of the villain being the ex-student or the opposite of the hero, or the chosen one who then fell from grace, or that sort of similar sort of plot line. It did make it a little bit like that, but what I did think it benefited from was understanding his motive. He says Khonshu is the moon god, punishes those who are bad, but he punishes people who are after the crime, which is too late. Because harm's been done. Whatever that bad person has done has happened, and it has a negative impact on other people, whereas Ammit predicts the people on what they will do in the future, and we will stop them before they do anything bad. Now, that idea of sort of punishment before crime, it would be a very controversial thing anyway. Is that right? Is that wrong? But even then, having then killed that person is very questionable, because you're like, well, why would you kill somebody? Why would you kill a 15-year-old for something they might do when they're 89? If you really, really wanted to do that, kill them when they're 89. Why would you kill them at that? Why would you kill them at the age of 15? But I know that's not the issue here, but I just thought you clearly are quite crazy on the fact you'll just kill somebody over something they might do, and that was the other problem Stephen Grant had, was he was killing kids that's bad, surely I can't be the only one with an issue with that, that's just horrible. And I also love though when he's what they might do, and I love that, because that is basically saying, what happens if they don't do that? How do you know they're going to do that? Is that a potential? Are we killing somebody for what they potentially might do? Are we killing somebody for something they will definitely do? What is going on here? And I certainly love that whole conversation. I love how Arthur Harrow's trying to recruit Stephen, but then goes, look, can I talk to Mark? I want to talk to Mark now, please. Because he does start to believe that Stephen isn't just a cover. It is actually, there is something going on there with a split personality, dissociative identity disorder. He's not just thinking that Stephen is a cover for Mark. He understands there is an imbalance going on there. And I love how he's ignore Khonshu, because Khonshu is there, and there's this bit of an argument going on between Arthur and Khonshu where they're both arguing their point. The thing is with Khonshu as well is he's clearly quite aggressive as well, so it makes it seem all of it a grey area. So I thought that was quite a unique thing to do. And I just also quickly, I forgot to mention it, I did love when Arthur Harrow first appears in this episode, and Khonshu says to Mark, break his windpipe. I thought, yeah, I do like that. I like that because that is, again, that's going the more darker, violent sort of thing, saying break his windpipe. I was like, yeah, fucking love that. And then Layla appears because she managed to hide from the police or the paid-off police, whatever they were, when they arrived to the house. And she arrives to help Stephen escape with the scarab to keep it at the hands of Arthur Harrow. They run into that room. The Jackal's chasing them, bashing on the door. And that's the other thing. Only Stephen or Mark, Moon Knight, whichever one, that body, they are the only one who can see the Jackal. Nobody else can. And I did think, does that mean it doesn't exist? But no, it is revealed that it does exist. It is hiding because it does affect other people. It does hit them, and if you chucked like paint all over it, the outline would be there. So it does exist. He's just the only one who can actually see it there. But I loved that scene where they're banging on the door and the doors fly open. He's like, Jackal, and she looks and there's literally nothing there. And she's like, what Jackal? And meanwhile Mark is telling him, let me take over, we need the suit. And she then starts telling him, get the suit. He's like, I don't know what suit, I don't know what's going on, help me. And then he gets chucked out the window, gets a suit and lands, and it certainly is not the Moon Knight suit. Now, if you know the character Moon Knight, you know that is essentially Mr. Knight. And I did enjoy the joke when he's like, what is this? And he says, it's a suit. And he says, no, I needed the armour, not this suit. And I love the Joker when he's like, what is this? I needed the suit, not make me look like Psycho Colonel Sanders. I love that. Now, I do have one problem with this scene here, though. It isn't really Mr. Knight. It is, again, Marvel doing a bit of a joke of it being just what Stephen's version of the armour would be, which is a Moon Knight-looking smart suit. And he's like, oh, I do like this. I do find this enjoyable. What's it? Oh, I like this. I find this enjoyable. I'm not, angry Psycho Moon Knight. And Mark's, again, the Jackal lands down, starts fighting both him and Layla. And again, this is where it shows that no, the Jackal is actually real. This isn't just going on inside of Stephen's or Mark's head. This is actually happening. And I do enjoy that fight. I do, again, think it's the typical sense of Marvel humour. But I will admit it was quite good Marvel humour. So I am actually quite conflicted on how I feel about the overall thing. But I do like it when he takes his jacket off, starts rolling up the sleeve. He's doing English gentleman fight. Yeah, come at me, And he's saying all of these ridiculous things. And Mark's like, you can't do this. And Stephen's like, I think I can. And I do love when Stephen then just fucking clocks the Jackal straight in the face as it goes to him. I thought, that's cool. And then the Jackal bashes him into a bus. And Mark's like, let me take over. He's like, fine, I will. And you finally get the big shot of Moon Knight. And I love the little chasing they have on the roof. And he's running after him, because Layla's told him to get him away from civilians. So he's running along the rooftops, and there's that shot from the trailer where he's jumping from one building to the next with the moon in the background. And that's what they used to promote it as he jumped into the Disney Plus sign. And I love that shot actually was in the program itself and wasn't just an advertising thing for Disney Plus, which it could have very well been, as it is purely just like a 100% CGI shot just made to advertise it on TV spots and trailers and on TikTok and things like that. But I was like, oh no, that actually is in the program. Obviously it didn't go Disney Plus, but you know what I mean. I was like, oh, I'm happy that's in there because it was such a really cool comic book panel-like shot. Especially for Moon Knight, it was very accurate to like a Moon Knight comic book panel. So I thought, that's fucking great, I love that. So I thought, that's fucking great, I love that. I was very happy with that. And I love how they defeat how he defeats the Jackal. And the Jackal jumps and impales itself. I thought that was really brutal. I was very happy with that. And I also love that shot, which was also in the trailer of Moon Knight, of one of the trailers of Moon Knight catching one of the crescent darts. Love that, and I love how it reveals that Khonshu, the reason why Mark wants rid of his wife, wants a divorce paper, because that was also in the flat scene, is where she's like, let's file a divorce, and Stephen's like, no, I would never divorce you. Because Stephen actually is in love with Layla, and it's clearly revealed for him to be the case. He's like, well, you're married to me, how would you marry me? Of course I would never divorce somebody like you. I would love to be married to somebody like you. And that's when he's all confused what's going on. I think that whole thing as well, which would hurt Layla more. I don't think she wants to get divorced. I don't think because she doesn't understand what's going on, she was very hurt by the whole Stephen thing. But I love that it's revealed the reason why Mark has to divorce her is because Khonshu, if anything happens to Mark, Khonshu will go on to make Layla the next Avatar. And he doesn't want that. He wants to keep Khonshu as far away from her as possible. But yes, I love that dark twist, and I love their final scene between Mark and Stephen, where Stephen's in the reflection now because Mark's taken over, and this is what it's like to be on the inside. It's horrible, and Mark's like, "You'll get used to it. It's okay. Just breathe. You'll be all right." And Steve's like, "I don't want you in charge. Give me the body back. I won't let you do these things, and I won't let you hurt her." And Stephen's not getting what Mark's trying to tell him about if we stay with her, she'll get hurt by Khonshu. She'll be taken over like we have. Just let me do this one thing, and you will never see or hear from me again. Which leads to question: how long have they been like this? Has Stephen Grant always been a thing? Is Stephen Grant a new identity with fake, previous memories, or has he always been one of the identities and lived his own life concurrently with Mark Spector? But I don't know, haven't found that out yet. But I thought that was quite interesting and leads to the question of that. And I love when Mark just eventually loses his shit in the end and just starts kicking the mirror, the glass reflection of Stephen telling him to shut up. And then there's that scene with Khonshu where he's like, "You will do this one thing, and of course remember, if anything happens to you, I have got a new body, the woman you love most." And it shows that Khonshu does have his own motives, is willing to do whatever he obviously has his own motives, but he's willing to do whatever he wants to do or needs to do to get to do those motives, and is sort of threatening, he's obviously threatening Mark, and also is very cruel towards Stephen, who he refers to as the idiot, or the worm, or, it's always derogatory, whatever it is. I just thought, okay, so Khonshu is not exactly a nice person, or creature, or god, or whatever, you know what I mean. He's clearly quite sinister himself, so I can see why Arthur Harrow fell out with him and is the villain, and I'm certainly interested to see how that whole relationship and dynamic will play out, both with Mark, Stephen, Jacob, if they do that in this series, as well as how they will react, and Khonshu will react with, and how he will react with, obviously with Arthur as well. So I'm very interested to see how all of that will play out towards the end. Will we see Ammit as well? Will Khonshu and Ammit have an interaction? Don't know. Very interested to see that. And I love the final shot where Mark's now in Egypt. And I do love that sort of shot where Mark Stevens in the reflection, he's nervous, he's like, "What's going on? What is this?" And you see Mark, he's just like, "Yeah, super cool, shirtless, ripped, like, yeah, I'm fucking great." I thought, I love that. But yes, I did enjoy the overall episode. I thought it was great to see more of Arthur Harrow, the main villain. Ethan Hawke is really good at the role. It was really good to see more of Mark Spector and Stephen Grant's interactions with him, especially considering it's the same actor and two very different characters, because one is the type of character which I'd expect Oscar Isaac to play. I realised I kept calling him Oscar Isaacs in the previous video. I'm sorry about that. By the time I'd realised it was too late to do anything about it. But Oscar Isaac to play. And then you've got Stephen Grant, who is like the opposite of the kind of character I'd expect Oscar Isaac to play, and he plays it really well. And it's really cool to see their interactions and how different they are, as well as it now being implied that in the next episode or a couple of episodes or however much that Mark Spector is the one in charge now, and I thought I love that. So they've switched up. I thought that was great, and it was really good to see Layla finally appear. And I thought May Calamawy, who played her, I hope I'm saying that name right, was really good at the role. I'm looking forward to seeing more of her as well. I hope she's in it quite a bit more. And I'm glad that they're now finally in Egypt. So I love how this episode ended off. There was a lot of positives to take away from it, but I will admit I didn't like it as much as the previous episode, because it is starting to go down the MCU sense of humour, especially with the whole Mr. Knight thing. As funny as that was, as good as that fight scene was, I was like, please don't ruin this side of Moon Knight by doing this with it. I'm not saying they will, but this is the problem. This is my worry with this episode. Is it a bad episode? No. Did I dislike it? No. Did I enjoy more things than I disliked? Yes. However, I am starting to see the little things creep through which could derail the whole series for me. And I really hope that isn't the case. I don't mind little nitpicks or little eye roll moments because of the MCU, but I don't want it to be like a One Division thing where I started enjoying it, but the last few episodes I despised and it just ruined the whole thing for me. I really hope that doesn't happen with this, because so far I do have a lot more positives than negatives. I loved the first episode. I really enjoyed this episode. Yes, I'm starting to see the cracks appear a little bit, but I hope they just stay that way and it's just like, okay, fine, whatever, opposed to just completely dropping the ball and ruining it and me hating it, because I'd be so gutted if that happens now, because so far it is still my favourite Disney Plus MCU programme. It's still one of my favourite MCU things on the whole so far, and I really am enjoying it. I just hope those little things I've noticed from this episode don't get bigger and bigger and bigger, and as well as other problems getting chucked in with the next episodes, to the point where the whole thing just becomes really disappointing. Because obviously something being disappointing will make you disappointed, but I can't express enough how disappointed I would be if that happens. So I certainly hope it doesn't. But I still really enjoyed this episode. I still have more positives than negatives. This episode was more revealing, more interactions, more action scenes, because obviously it would be, because the other episode was a setup. But I loved how the story progressed in this, and from an action scene perspective, I thought it was great. It's still some of the best action in the MCU so far, and I can't wait to see more of it, and I hope it does maintain its darkness when it comes to Moon Knight versus people, like it was implied and shown a bit in the first episode. I'm still looking forward to it. Still lots of positives to take away from it. As a episode quality, I'm going to give it 7.75 out of 10, and its entertainment value, I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. Yes, I know that's a little bit lower than the previous episode, but I hope, I've just explained why, and I hope you think that's fair enough. If not, I apologise, but don't hate me for it, please. But yes, I did enjoy the episode. I am looking forward to more. What we did get more revealed in this, apart from Mr. Knight, which I did have problems with Mr. Knight thing and its reveal, but I did find it funny at the same time. But aside from my mixed feelings towards that, I pretty much loved all the new additions to it, the new cast members, the new information on the backstories, everything about it. I did enjoy all of that side of it, so I enjoyed everything about that side of things. So I'm very happy with that, aside from the Mr. Knight thing, which I have mixed feelings towards, but yes. So this is the other little bit, as I mentioned earlier, which I got to edit it in here. So again, I know it'll be a little bit of an awkward edit, but I apologise for that, but thank you for your understanding. I like the amount of hidden details in this episode as well. Instead of going into all of them, if you want to know more about the little hidden Easter eggs, sort of things like that, I recommend the video by New Rockstars on it. I thought that was great, and I recommend the Real Rejects reaction to said video. So I just wanted to say that here really quickly. Again, sorry for how awkward these edits will be, but yeah, thank you. Thank you for watching this video. Sorry that it's taken so long, and it's, like I said, Moon Knight Episode 3 came out today, but as I said with my Batman videos, I was ill, and then I had a really shit week this last week, so I didn't feel like doing a lot, sorry. But I am doing this more, and I will be filming my very late Morbius review, which will also be compiling some of my thoughts on the Sony Spider-Man universe, or Sony's universe of Marvel characters, whatever it's called, together as well, because I do have a lot to say on both the film and the sort of mini franchise as a whole. So I do hope you watch that video. The Batman spoiler video is uploading as I'm doing this video, and hopefully it does work first time really well, unlike when I did the spoiler-free video for the Batman. But yes, because I mentioned that in the previous episode review, saying it's uploading now, and then it didn't. I was like, well, fuck you then. But yeah, well, it didn't upload the HD version, so I had to then upload it again and then complain to YouTube because it still wasn't uploading. Either way, or processing, I should say. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you stick around for the Morbius video. I will have another video for Moon Knight Episode 3 once I've watched that, and I will be still doing that really late scene talking about the Batman deleted scene, and then I have other things which I'm planning on talking about in the future as well. So I hope you stick around for all of that, and I hope you also, if you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I'm glad you did, I hope you watch some of my older videos as well, and I hope you enjoy those ones if you watch them as well, because I would appreciate it if you did check them out. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. I do appreciate it. And leave a comment what you liked. I do appreciate it, and well, I'm just very grateful. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah. So anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.